Okay, I'm partly through triangulating the rear end, and I measured from inside to inside on these frame connectors because they're both on there the same exact way, and that gave me this mark right here, that black mark right there. Okay, then I measured from that edge to the line on both sides right there, that edge, and it was like an inch off, probably more than an inch off. So what I'm going to start by doing is making these equal. I counted the threads on these, and I counted the threads on this one, so I'm going to match them, and then I'm going to put it back and see how it looks and measure it, and then the rest of the adjustments I'm probably going to do from these. So I know on the stock vehicle these lower ones are the exact same length, and well, for that matter the top ones are the exact same length, but that's where I'm starting. All right, I got that back on, and it was pretty easy. I just pried it with the 2x4 behind the wheel and the wheel well, brought it forwards and popped the bolt in. Now I'm gonna measure again to my line and see what it is. $81 1/4. $81 3/16. So the thought comes to my mind that, well, I'm 1/16 off. Maybe I should adjust the lowers. Maybe that's what I should do. I don't know. But they're the exact same length. So if I do the top ones, it'll twist it over a little bit, and this measurement might change if I adjust the double adjustable top ones. So I might just try that first. So I've measured from that line right here to the edge of the tire, and it's within 1/8 of an inch. One side's 5 3/4 and one side's 5 3/8. But these tires probably aren't perfect either, so I'm not sure if I should trust that to move the rear end based on that measurement. So I'm gonna have to think about it. $81 3/4 driver's side. $82 passenger. Okay, I got that wrote down. And that's with the weight of the car on the tires. So I have to think about what I'm going to do now. Should I move the lowers or move the uppers? The uppers point like this, and they'll tip it like this and move it left and right, and when it tips off of the lowers here, I could see it pulling it in a little bit also, which would straighten out that measurement. And since I know I got the lowers the exact same, they should be right. They should be. It doesn't mean they are, because I don't really know what I'm doing here. Alright, I took took these and I measured the uppers, and that one on the passenger side is a little longer by almost 1/8 of an inch than the other one. And according to my measurements on the tires that I haven't figured is exact, it does need to go that way. If I shorten this one on the driver's side, it'll go that way, and maybe it'll even up the measurements I took on the tires. And at the same time, it might pull this side in, which the driver's side is the long side. So if it pulls it over and in, that would hopefully get it. So that's what I'm gonna do. That's a double adjustable. So I'm gonna shorten that up to match the other side and see what I get. All right, this is all just a big experiment for me because I'm not sure how to do this, but I adjusted that top driver's side one almost 1/4 inch in, and what that did was it made the measurement from the edge of this tire to the fender in the exact same spot on both sides. It's even. Okay, and what that did, that 1/4 inch moved this side forwards 1/8 of an inch. So now, where'd my paper go? Now I'm 82 on the passenger side, that didn't move, but 81 7/8 from my point here in front to the back when I do the triangulation. So I'm within 1/8 of an inch now, and I don't really want to pull on that one anymore because it'll pull the tire towards the driver's side even more, and I can't have that happening because they're even now. So I'm within 1/8 of an inch. I might have to take this passenger lower off and move it in 1/8 of an inch and then try again. So I just thought of something too. This car isn't level, it's lower on that side, on the passenger side, and so since it's lower, that's probably making that lower control arm longer. Would that do it? Because it's 82, it's the long side. So if I level the car, this might not be an issue anymore. I might gain that 1/4 inch, or 1/8 inch, I'm sorry, it's an 1/8 inch difference. I think that might actually do it. All right, I tried leveling the car with the shocks and the springs. I got the passenger side is almost as high as I'm willing to go without risking jamming the nut on the end of the threads, because that would just spell disaster. And I got this one almost all the way down. But what's happening is now this spring is supporting the whole car, and the more that I drop this one down, the more weight goes on that one, and now that side, the passenger side, is about to touch the tire. So I got just a couple choices left. Now I can either take my nitrous bottle and move it over there, which is a great idea, but they say when the car takes off, it twists like this, so you want the weight over there. So the only other way that I could figure to keep the weight over there and level the car, which by the way hasn't helped. I've dropped this side down 1 inch. I can't level it, so I can't tell actually. So I could use my anti-roll bar, which would probably help distribute the weight better between the two springs, and then I could probably get those springs the same height. And I had this theory the other day, I should have just went straight with it, but I didn't. I'm gonna get the car where the springs are almost the same on both sides, or maybe a little bit more on this side, and then I'm gonna just connect the anti-roll bar and tighten this side until the car is level, and I'll see if that changes this measurement. Probably won't, But if it does, great. If it don't, then the only choice I got left is to shorten this lower control arm. Okay, that was all the way down when I started, and I put that much on it. It's probably nearly an inch, and it has risen that one up off the tire because it was almost right on the tire, and it has dropped this one down almost on the tire. So what that means is that I can adjust that nut up more, probably go ahead and leave that nut where it's at for a minute because it's all the way up, and work my way to level. Okay, I leveled the car with the anti-roll bar. I put the spring nuts all the way up on both sides. They're even on both sides, so the springs are as much tension as they can get. And then I adjusted the anti-roll bar and I got it level. Now that it's level, it's within a 1/16 of an inch. So it actually got shorter on this side. It was, I didn't write it down, but measure it here. And it's a 81 and 13/16. Measure it here. It's 81 and 7/8. So that's pretty good, I think. That means if I really wanted to get right down to it, I could drop that control arm there and probably take a 1/16 of an inch out of it and be Nat's ass. But I mean, I don't know, I'll have to think about that and look a little harder and see if I'm missing something before I go doing that, because this seems like it's a lot closer than it's ever been before. Okay, so I decided to adjust this lower control arm again. So I dropped down and I turned it in one full turn, which looked like a 1/16 of an inch. And then I measured again. And I measured from this bracket, like I have been, to this point here on the transmission, which is center. I marked it for center. And it's at 81 and 13/16 on both sides. So I'm happy with that. The problem is, and I don't know if it's a big problem, is that wheel on the passenger side is 5 and 7/16 out from the fender, and on the driver's side it's 5 and 13/16. That's like 6/16 difference. So you can only look at one side of the car at a time, and I'm not entirely certain that being shifted like this is gonna cause any problems with driving it and stuff. And when I'm adjusting the upper control arms, it doesn't move right away. I had it perfect, and then I jacked it up to do the lower control arms, and when I set it back down, it was different. So I think when you're going down the road and it's bouncing, that it's going to be moving a little bit, and there's really I don't think there's any getting that perfect without, I think it's called a panhard bar, I'm not sure, but without that bar that goes into the frame and connects to the rear end and back up to the frame or whatever, that you can maybe adjust it so that the rear end doesn't do this, which would make the car heavier, and I'm not sure it's necessary. So I think I've got it where I want it, and I think I'm going to leave it alone. Maybe I'll move everything out of the way and go for a ride, even though it's really cold outside. So I'll come back after my ride, and I got on it a couple times, and that's where that's sitting. And that's where that's sitting. So I might still have to adjust my anti-roll bar a little bit, because I'm not, or my shocks, I'm not sure if it's letting it drop. It's still pulled to the right. Guess I can raise it up, see if the measurements are still holding, see if they moved. The good news is the rear end didn't move at all. It's exactly where I left it. So I'm gonna adjust on this a little bit again, since it moved and it seems to be staying there. I'm going to drop it down on the one side that it's high. So I messed with the alignment again, since it didn't fix it messing with the rear end, and it turned out it was the caster. I followed some online stuff, and it confused me because it said that if I have the caster have the shock forward on one side, it'll pull that way. But when I did the caster with the bubble, I made them both even and it didn't work. And so when I was stumped and I didn't know what else to do, I took it's pulling right. Well, I took the driver's side caster and I moved it forwards, and it helped. So I moved it forwards a little more and it helped more. So now it's going straight. And when I'm at 100 miles an hour, it gets a little bit of a shimmy, not bad. So it's worth it to have it driving straight. So I got it driving straight finally, and that's it. I'm pretty much done, besides adding an emergency brake cable to it. So that's it.